Hey everyone, I'm Travis from Woodman Classics, and today I have an unboxing video of a bunch of games that I bought from Chase After the Right Price. When I say a bunch of Complete In Box NES games, I mean a bunch. So let's get into it. So first up, we have RoboCop 3 CIB. Very nice condition. Next we have a very uncommon Color Dreams game, Taggin' Dragons. Followed up by another Color Dream games you hardly ever see. This is Operation Secret Storm, which has what is clearly Saddam Hussein on the cover. Followed up by another just uncommon game you never see. This is The Mutant Virus. And yet another uncommon game, not Color Dreams, this is American Video Entertainment. Mermaids of Atlantis. The Riddle of the Magic Bubble. Sounds interesting. And yet another just game you just never see, Alec Demo's Race America. The final game in here is semi-common, but somehow I don't have it. It is made by the company Rare, although not very rare. It is High Speed World's #1 Pinball. You notice the Trade West logo as well. That's typically when you see that, it's on the Battletoads box. Get out of here. Moving on to box number 2. This one is quite a bit heavier than the last. Again, we have quite a few very obscure, rare games, starting out with, I believe, the final Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game I need, Pool of Radiance. Followed by yet another Color Dreams game, Master Chu and the Drunken Who. I believe this is also the last Pac-Man game I need. This is Pac-Mania, Tengen exclusive. I believe this game I don't have at all. This is The Incredible Crash Dummies. And I should point out, like, almost all these games are very, very good condition. Speaking of good condition, this game, Rockin' Cats, is just immaculate. I'm pretty sure it comes with a poster and every insert in there. Next up we have Sunday Funday, which it's from Wisdom Tree, but it's the same company as Color Dreams. When Color Dreams completely failed as a company, they changed their name to Wisdom Tree and started making Christian games.
Do you ever worry that they're playing too much Nintendo?
Oh, not anymore. See, Matt has Bible adventures. They're actually learning Bible stories while they're playing Nintendo.
Quick, get that Bible quote before you run out of power.
Next up we have Toki, which, if most of you don't know, this is actually an arcade game that was great. Let's see, we got a couple more great games in here. Another really nice condition, just game you don't see very often, Felix the Cat. This one's actually super fun, although not very hard. Just super fun to have a nice playthrough of Hudson Soft, which, I don't know about you guys, but every time I see Hudson Soft, I think of Adventure Island. Street Cop is the next one, a Bandai game, which Power Pad required on this guy, which when I see this box and see Power Pad required, it just makes me think that I have to run from the police in this game. Next up we have Clash at Demon Head. This one's also a great game, and I feel like, isn't the band in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, isn't the name of their band called Clash at Demon Head?
The Clash at Demon Head!
I'm sure that's where they got it from. Next up we have Mario's Time Machine. This is actually one of the more rare and obscure Mario games on the system. You have Mario's Missing, but Mario's Time Machine, very similar game to Mario's Missing. Not particularly that fun, kind of that edutainment type game, but one you just never see in this condition. And when I say the condition on these games, let me pull one of these out so you can kind of just catch the gloss of that box when it's out of the protector. Typically games like that don't have that type of gloss. Followed up by yet another Color Dreams game, Robo Demons. I don't think I've ever played this one. The cover looks so strange though. Robot man holding a glowing boomerang, running from an octopus and other cyborgs. Next up we have Ziesel Space Adventure. This is actually a great Hudson Soft classic as well. Shoot 'em up. Almost in the category of a cute 'em up, but I wouldn't quite call it that. Next we have Magician, another nice example. Moving into the final of the three boxes, this one is also heavy, and when I say heavy, I also mean not only weight-wise, but rarity-wise. I'll save the best one for last, but first up, we got Wario's Woods. This is actually the last game released on the NES, coming out in 1994. I mean, we're almost to the 64 when this game comes out, and very deep into the Super Nintendo library. Next up, we have The Terminator. This is not only a great movie, but I mean, the cover of this game, I'm sure this is the same as like the movie poster, but just like, I really like this. Although the game isn't, unfortunately, very good. What is interesting is the game Journey to Silius. That was almost the Terminator game, but they lost the rights at the last second, and then we ended up with this. Which, if I'm not mistaken, it's not LJN, but it's Mindscape, which might as well be LJN. Next up, we have another game talking about, speaking of losing the rights, or just a controversial title. We have Power Punch 2, which should be called Mike Tyson's Power Punch 2, but there was a lot of controversy around Mike Tyson at the time, and they decided to change the name last minute. Change the name of the fighter, even though it's clearly Mike Tyson on the cover. Next, we have a semi-common game, I would say, but when you just don't see it in this condition very often. Wow, the back of that looks really cool. Like, just the artwork and the graphic design on that's awesome looking. I don't think I've actually played this game. It's by Virgin Games. Next, we have another very obscure game. I would say a company that you don't see very often. Asmic Corporation of America. Worm, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Wow, the screenshots on the back of this leave much to be desired. There's a zoom in of a anime girl, a monster, and then what looks to be, what's supposed to be a screenshot of gameplay, but you can't even tell what's going on. Again, we have a fairly common game again, but you just don't really see it in this condition very often. Krusty's Funhouse. I think this is the last Simpsons game that I need CIB on the NES. This is also a fun game, Joe and Mac. I really like this series, particularly the Lost in the Tropics on SNES. It's just so good. Such a great 2-player game, but yeah, Data East did a really good job with this. This is a good one. I actually need to go through and play this game. I know it's great, I don't remember beating it. I don't think I had it as a kid. It's Taito's Kickmaster, CIB. What's a Kickmaster? He's a lean, mean martial art fighter. He's the younger brother of the King's Knight. He's a hero. King's Knight. That's a game on NES, but it's by Square as this Taito. I'm sure there's no connection there. It's a coincidence. Next up we have Dragon Power, which, if some of you guys don't know, this was actually Dragon Ball, the game. But for some reason, I don't know if they had trouble getting the rights or just thought this was a better way to market the game, to switch it around. But Dragon Power, it's actually a decent game. Next we have Vice Project Doom. Talk about a decent game. This game is actually awesome. I remember playing it as a kid. I don't think I ever beat it. I specifically remember having the Nintendo Power that has like the goggles on the cover that has this game in it, and really wanted to play it. It's by Sammy, and that's clearly Patrick Swayze on the cover there too. They ripped it off. Next up we have what's known as a Mega Man clone, the Cryon Conquest. This is another game where I honestly didn't know this game existed until a few years ago, but I need to go through and play this because Mega Man is like one of my favorite series there is on all systems, not just the NES. Next up, another great game, Shatterhand. I have played this one. Not recently. I would like to actually go back through and beat it again. It has just the right amount of difficulty from what I can remember. Just such a great game. We've got two more here, and they're two bangers. We got Zen, the Intergalactic Ninja, a Konami classic. This was another one that I only knew about like a few years ago. I never had this as a kid, but definitely a good game. This is a great game. And then finally, we probably have the most unplayable game, but my favorite game in this entire lot. You just never see it in this condition. I'm just going to go ahead and take it out of the box protector so you can fully experience it. And there's something about this cover too that I just really enjoy. But it's just super rare. Color a Dinosaur. This was Nintendo's, I mean not Nintendo, but Virgin Games on the Nintendo. Their lackluster attempt to like bring something like what we know as Mario Paint later to fruition, but nowhere near the scale that game was able to achieve. But yeah, this is just such a rare piece that you never see, especially in this condition. Now, I will say on several of these games, I do have loose copies already that will be pulled off the shelf and probably be coming with me to the next game convention to recoup some of this money that I spent on this pile of NES games here. And so I believe the next game convention I'll be at is Game Jam South. So if you're there in the area in Alabama, feel free to come by our booth and purchase any of these NES loose games that you need. But yeah, just look at all these. And after this pile of games, that brings my total of NES games up to 796 out of 920 total games for the console. I want to also thank Chase and his crew at Chase After the Right Price for the deals. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to check out my other videos linked in the description.